Hello everybody, my name is Kyle Bleek, and today I'm going to be talking to you about two different universal principle of designs, the difference between legibility and readability. So to begin with, readability and legibility are two elements that every designer needs to think about when making their type choices. Regardless if you're making an advertisement for a business or you're making an informational packet, the different typefaces that you choose will have a big impact on how the people that you're trying to communicate with read your information. And you want to make sure that you present that information in a very readable and legible way because they work together. Let's see. Readability, the definition for it is how easily you read your words, as in big blocks of text. As you can see on the picture on the left, the type in that big block is much easier to read when it's a skinnier font. You know, all the words work together a bit better than what's on the right, because what's on the right is very bold, very big, very hard to read, and that typeface is not really meant for big blocks of text. While legibility, on the other hand, is a measure of how easy it is to distinguish one letter from another in a particular typeface. So how well you read the individual letters. As you can see in this picture, the designs themselves of the letter are really cool, but they're not really meant to work together, and you're gonna lose your audience if you try to write information in typeface like that. So when it comes down to it, readability versus legibility really does come down to the difference between a serif and a sans serif type font. It's not always like this, but most of the time, if you go into a textbook, big blocks of text are going to be written in a serif type font, and that means that they have little accents on the typeface themselves that kind of pull the letters together so that they work together as a word, and then when they work together as a word, the whole block of text is going to read much easier than it would in a sans serif type font, which a good example, if you go into like your news, if you just go buy a newspaper and you look at the headline, most of the time that headline is going to be written in a sans serif type font, because that typeface is going to enable you to bring much more attention to the typeface, and that's why a lot of newspapers use that, because it brings attention, and it's gonna ask for people to read that headline for the day. So there are two different two different terms in readability that kind of differentiate between readability and legibility, and that's kerning and tracking. So kerning is the individual space between two different letters. You can go in any program in the Adobe suite and you can change the kerning and tracking. Tracking is when you select a mass amount of text, and you say if you make it larger, you're going to change all of the spaces between those letters. So those two terms are really important when it comes down to, is your text readable, is your text legible? So to end, I have this little quote here that says, "Not illegible letters, but readable words." So in that first sentence, it says all of the letters are individually legible, but when they come together, they make the sentence not really legible. So you just have to keep in mind how your letters work together, and if you do, you'll be successfully communicate the information that you want. That is just a little snippet into the difference between readability and legibility. I hope you enjoyed, and thank you for your time.